So let's take a look at what we've gone through here. Some points about the Sabbath day. Number one, the Sabbath belongs to God. Now, man may have his Sabbath day, the first work day of the week, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about God owns the Sabbath day. That's his day. Number two, God blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Now, there's two things I want to point out here with that point. Because the Sabbath was blessed by God, there are blessings connected to keeping the Sabbath. That's what you got to understand. Because the Sabbath was blessed by God, there are blessings connected to keeping his Sabbath. Two, he made it holy. And only God can make time holy. You understand what I'm saying? The Pope cannot make time holy. Now I want to offer you something here called Sunday worship. How Sunday worship really came about. You need this information. What you got to understand is that it's a Catholic doctrine. The Catholic Church, I have on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, a video of a priest just telling it like it is about the authority for Sunday keeping. And he just freely admits there's no authority from the Bible for Sunday keeping. None. They change the day and they take full responsibility for changing the day. They're not ashamed of it because they've got the whole world following in their footsteps. Sunday basically identifies that you worship the Pope. It's what that basically proves. The Sabbath identifies the God that you serve, the Creator God. Sunday identifies that you're following in the footsteps of the Pope. Sunday worship, how Sunday worship really came about, that's a challenge to you. I don't think you have the courage to order this. It's free. But you don't have what it takes to order it, do you? You'd rather be ignorant, wouldn't you? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, third point is that it's a day of rest and relaxation. How important that is that to this crazed, busy, workaholic world in which we live in? It's a day to rest and relax. Very important. Fourth, there's nothing that brings families closer together than keeping the Sabbath. Why? Because of this magical word, T-I-M-E. Time together. 5, it's the only day with a name, the Sabbath day. 6, the Sabbath identifies the God that you serve. 7, the Sabbath is the 4th commandment. 8, the Sabbath is about connectivity with God. 9, the Sabbath keeps you from losing your identity. You know, in making this message, I typed in Sabbath day and I had small caps and it came up underlined. Sabbath's supposed to be, capitalized. Why? Because its roots go all the way back to creation. You capitalize that day, the Sabbath day of God. And 10, it's the 10th commandment. Notice Deuteronomy 8 and verse 2. And you shall remember all the ways which the Lord your God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove you, notice that, to test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. Let me explain this to you. For 40 years, the children of Israel rained down something called manna from heaven, which was like bread from heaven. They would gather it every day so they would have a supply of bread. But if they kept it over one day, it would rot. There was one exception though. On Friday evening, they were told to gather twice as much so they wouldn't have to be out there in the field gathering it on the Sabbath day. And an absolute miracle occurred for 40 years. They could keep it on Friday evening through the Sabbath, keep it a couple days and it would not rot. It was a divine miracle that occurred for 40 long years to prove, to test whether they would walk in his way or not. The Sabbath is the 10th commandment. 11, the Sabbath is not a bad law. I don't care what your preacher is telling you. It's not a bad law. God doesn't make mistakes. He didn't make a mistake when he said, 6 days shall you labor, but the Sabbath is the 7th day of the week, and I want you to take that day off and connect with me. God doesn't make mistakes. Do you worship a God that makes mistakes? Do you worship a God that's always changing his mind? That's always doing something a little bit different. Now we're going to change that. We're going to change that. We're going to change. God says, I change not. Do you worship a God that's always changing?
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.